Hello and welcome back to the Cisco Learning Network podcast. In this episode, we are going to continue reviewing the changes to the Cisco certification program. With us today is Susie Wee, Senior Vice President and CTO of Cisco DevNet and also founder of Cisco DevNet. Cisco Learning Network Community Manager Brett Lovins got a chance to speak with Susie about how learning at Cisco has worked with DevNet to develop a DevNet certification. Susie will touch on how her goal with this certification is to combine software, networking, and engineering to build IT teams of the future. Here's Brett.
Welcome everybody back to the Cisco Learning Network podcast. My name is Brett Lovins, Community Manager on the Cisco Learning Network. And as many of you know that are Cisco Learning Network folks, we've been doing webinars with DevNet for a couple of years now. And, it's been a fun thing to watch to see our communities get closer together. And then lo and behold, in June, we have the introduction of DevNet certifications. So if you've listened to some of the earlier podcasts, you've had an opportunity to listen to somebody within Learning at Cisco with Yusuf Baji. And now for the DevNet side of this, which is all in the same boat these days, why not bring the person who's in charge of it, and that is Susie Wee. Susie, welcome. Maybe just briefly introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself to our audience, and then we'll ask some questions and have a little conversation about things.
Sure thing. Hi there, Brett. Thank you for having me on here, and hello to our audience. I just want to tell you all that I have tremendous respect for everything that you've achieved. You guys are kick-ass in everything that you've done, everything that you've learned, and we're hoping that we can provide more value to you in the next steps of your careers and in your businesses. So myself, I'm Susie Wee. I'm the Senior Vice President and CTO of Cisco DevNet. I'm the founder of Cisco DevNet. We founded DevNet about 5 years ago, kind of in anticipation of knowing that this network is going to change. The network is going to become programmable. The network is going to have incredible capabilities. And with that comes a new skill set that should complement our networking expertise. But basically, we need a software skill set to come together with that to make the most of the new capabilities in the network. And that's why we founded DevNet 5 years ago, because we said, the networking technologies are going to change. There's going to be so much capability. It's one thing to create new products and new technologies, but it's another thing to take the people who operate and design and build these networks and make sure that they have the tools they need to make the most of it. So that's why we founded DevNet. DevNet is Cisco's developer program. It covers all of Cisco's products and platforms, and specifically the APIs that are built on top of those. And what we do is we help our developers around the world use those APIs, learn about them, use it to automate their networks, use it to build new applications that work on top of, collaboration, networking, security, IoT, our entire portfolio, and really get them up to speed so they can be as powerful as they can be.
Wonderful. Well, and then, as a part of the learning journey, and I was actually at, I believe, the first Cisco Live where DevNet was sort of had this, enormous footprint, and it was such a cool thing, and it was neat to watch all the things that you guys were rolling out. And so it's been a wonderful thing to watch and be a part of on the sidelines. But now it's not on the sidelines anymore, Susie. You guys are now, offering certifications to validate skills for the marketplace, for the career advancement folks out there. I would love to get your take on the why of doing that. Why adds DevNet certifications to Cisco's offerings?
Yeah, so it's been interesting because as we've grown DevNet, what I kind of view is since that first Cisco Live that we had our first DevNet zone in May 2014, up until this year when we announced our certifications, but kind of growing that whole DevNet program, growing our developer community. And by developers, I do mean networkers who are picking up the software skills and expertise. I kind of view those first 5 years were our MVP, like our minimum viable product. We're out there, we're trying it, we're saying who in our community is interested in learning about these and where do they want to go? Are they interested? And what we found is yes, people are interested. Yes, people are scared, but yes, people see opportunity and they see a path to learn. As we kind of grew that and we've really gotten to know our community quite well, what we found is that, this is no longer optional. This is critical. These software skills are critical. More and more of the portfolio has APIs and is programmable. And that network can become very relevant to the line of business. that network can become very powerful in terms of enabling applications on the network, enabling DevOps, so it really gives the network an entirely new power. And so what happened is we wanted to provide more of our community, including our entire certification community of professionals out there, an ability to learn about software, in some of the ways that we've been doing it DevNet style, but really coming together with the Learning at Cisco team, with the people who've been earning our certifications, and provide the resource to them at the level that everybody is used to. And so it's been a pleasure to work with the Learning at Cisco team to take DevNet to that next level and define and offer a DevNet certification. And what that means is that in addition to teaching the hardcore infrastructure and engineering skills, letting people learn and train to really become masters as they do, and then giving them the certification so that they can be recognized for their skills, and having the companies pay people, reward people, recognize their abilities, have them in the right levels for those certifications, we wanted to add software as a strong component in that. And so we created the new DevNet certification, and it is paired up along with Cisco network and engineering certifications. And so what we saw is that there's a huge opportunity in the marketplace for not only networking skills, but also software skills. And I should say that that opportunity is not only software either, it's software plus engineering and networking and how those come together. And what we needed to do was actually, once again, take IT teams and really build the ability to create IT teams of the future that have a combination of the networking and infrastructure engineering expertise along with the software expertise. And what we find is that the combination is really gold. So if you can actually get a networker to sit alongside a software developer, but that combination of bringing together software and networking skills is really key to enable just IT to be successful, to enable businesses to be successful as well. And so that's where it's been just really important for us to define these DevNet certifications to really bring together the IT teams of the future, to attract a new set of employees into our workforce. So we know that networkers get very excited about being in a Cisco workforce, meaning working for our partners and our customers. But we also want to make sure that software developers feel a part of it. And we very much want to make sure that our infrastructure engineers, whether they're in networking, collaboration, IoT, security, that they have a path to learn about software as well. Because we want them to continue to be the leaders that they have been over the last 26 years, and for them to continue to be leaders for the next 26 years.
I love it. I love it. I've got a little cheat sheet in front of me here, Susie, where I've got all the certs for DevNet. And, it looks like, it's really an opportunity for people to start really wherever they are from my vantage point. And I know your portfolio well, with all the associate certification as well as all of the concentration exams and core exam. Will you give sort of your take on, or just present the menu, if you will, of what's out there for these candidates that are listening?
I would love to. We know the value of the CCNA, of the CCNP, the CCIE. Those continue, of course, to have the just be highly regarded in the industry. They represent a level of kind of technical rigor, expertise in everything there. And what we've done is we've defined the DevNet certifications to be in lockstep with those in terms of the difficulty, the level of expertise that they represent all along. CCNA is Cisco Certified Network Associate, which everyone knows about. And aside with that is the DevNet Associate. So this is the software kind of working for a year into the job, has the software expertise and skills to come in and be productive in the workforce. So that's that DevNet Associate certification. We have, along with the CCNP, the Cisco Certified Network Professional, we have a DevNet Professional certification that represents that level of expertise in the software profession. Again, that DevNet Professional certification. The DevNet expert, we are not releasing now. We're saving that for later. That would be paired up with the CCIE. But what we want to do is get traction with the DevNet associate and DevNet professional, make sure that we understand that very well. And then we'll be coming out with the DevNet expert following that. We have the technology concentrations. You have the Cisco certified specialists. And along with that, we have the DevNet specialist technology concentrations. Let me just kind of describe a little bit more about each of these. So when you start with the DevNet associate, the way that we do is we dive into the DevNet associate. And what we say is the CCNA is kind of 80% networking, 20% software. While the DevNet associate is 80% software, 20% networking. And there's a reason that we're kind of 80-20, 20-80, because what we feel is that, you need your CCNAs and your DevNet associates to be a combination of yes, I choose to really concentrate in networking, but I definitely know something about software. And then vice versa, I know something about software, that's where I want to concentrate in, but I know something about networking. And this way, these two sets of people can have the common language to talk to each other. So the things that you learn about if you're a DevNet associate is like understanding and using APIs, doing software development and design, looking at application deployment and looking at how to deploy applications and use APIs securely. Also looking at infrastructure and automation so that you understand the infrastructure side of software and automation. And then network fundamentals. So again, making sure there's that 20% element of network fundamentals. And what happens is that DevNet Associate is pretty unique in the industry because, well, first of all, there's a set of solid software skills, but it does add some of that infrastructure skill and then a little bit about Cisco platforms as well. And so that would bring in a software developer who could come in and work with networkers and not be as good at networking as the networkers themselves, but know enough that they can actually appreciate it, they understand something about it and can work together. The things that we're, again, really excited about is how these different groups will come together. And when you look at software developers, I would have to say that not all software developers are created equally, because if you take a look at a software developer who's written mobile apps, so it's great, they're writing Android apps or they're writing iPhone apps, but that doesn't necessarily give you the confidence that this person could automate your network, write software that can work in a mission critical network, write software for DevOps workflows. And so there's another level within these certifications that talk again about application deployment, security, and authentication, many of these different areas that are important. So that comes all in your DevNet Associate certification. If we jump up to the DevNet Professional certification, that is certainly a professional who's been working kind of like 5 years in software. It represents that type of knowledge, again, similar to our CCNP level. And here it's more, again, about understanding and using APIs, software development and design, application deployment and security. And as you're working in these types of areas, then, it gets in even deeper. So it makes sure that you're learning about application deployment, how to use virtual machines, deploy on bare metal, use containers, make sure that you're using load balancers, firewalls, DNS, and of course all of them ensure that you're using tools like Git, using REST APIs and everything there, as well as then getting more advanced on your Cisco platforms. So that DevNet Professional gets you to that next level to where you're a software professional. Now, in addition, we have our DevNet concentrations, like the DevNet that can earn you the DevNet specialist areas. And these are super interesting because 5 of them are associated with those 5 areas of the CCNP, which is enterprise networking, service provider networking, security, data center, and collaboration. And what happens is for each of those 5, there is a combined, Cisco specialist, a DevNet specialist that is on automating and programming Cisco enterprise solutions, automating and programming Cisco service provider solutions, automating and programming Cisco security solutions, Cisco collaboration solutions, and Cisco data center solutions. And what's nice about those 5 is that they will count both towards your CCNP and towards your DevNet Professional. So you kind of get, dual credit for those. In addition, we have 3 additional DevNet specialist certifications, and one is around DevOps, so specializing in DevOps. The next one is on IoT and edge platforms, and the other is on WebEx and WebEx devices. So these are 3 additional, and we'll certainly be adding more over time, and those get pretty interesting as well. So what you see is that we have a pretty good menu of kind of technologies and skills that people can earn that hopefully is pretty compelling, either for a networker to pick up some software skills, as well as for software developers to enter our workforce and be knowledgeable on the Cisco side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of add to what you were saying there too, I think one of the coolest things is that each exam that I'm looking at here on the screen is a certification or is a acknowledgement and validation of skills independently of whether you stack them and become a professional cert or not. So to your point, Susie, it's like, so you got the network engineer who's always been a network engineer. Now they can keep their solid core knowledge base and their certifications, but they can start to add these extra ones and get validation for them along the way as well. So it makes for a lot of choices for folks that are out there and have marketplace needs for any one of these things to expand their skills and bring value to the companies they work for.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great point, because these were even just the big update to the Cisco certification program overall was to provide that agility and that technology leadership to where you can have your choices and build up in these different areas where you can actually get a certification for any exam that you take and pass. And then as you build these together, what we see is that they're not independent, where you're going to have one person who only gets the Cisco certifications and then another software person who only gets the Cisco DevNet certifications. What we see is that you can mix and match these things. And, there's some new job roles that emerge in the industry. And if I can talk about them, like one of them is this role of, for example, a DevSecOps engineer. So you're doing security, you're doing security operations, but now that it's programmable, you can do DevSecOps, like DevOps, but DevSecOps for security. And so to do that, you may earn your CCNP in security. And then in addition to earning your CCNP in security, you could actually put together some different technology concentrations. You could get the Cisco specialist in security so that you learn to automate security operations. But then you could go ahead and earn the Cisco DevNet specialist in DevOps so that you're learning to securely deploy applications. And then if you wanted to make, for example, a communication tool, chatbots for security operations teams, you could earn your Cisco DevNet specialist in WebEx to build chatbots for alerting and monitoring for these, on top of your security solutions. So by kind of combining the skills that you learn in each of these areas and certifying, you can train yourself for new roles that emerge in the industry because of that programmability.
Yeah, right on. I'm going to lob one over to you on this. So I kind of know the answer to this, and I've been really impressed with DevNet since I've started working with you guys and bringing DevNet talent to Cisco Learning Network doing webinars, and we've been pointing people to the stuff that you guys have to offer.
Yeah.
So the date, of course, for the exams that we're talking about, when you can actually take one, is February 24th, 2020. So there's a little ways out. But can I offer that you could suggest what people could do right now?
That's right. So the test will be available in February. As all of you know, and all of you know even way more than me, is that it takes time to study for these. And every time that you have earned one of these certifications, it represents a lot of work that you've put into it and studying for it. But right now you can get in there and start learning all the material that you need so that you're ready to take that exam in February, so that you can become one of the first DevNet certified professionals that are out there, whether it's a DevNet associate, whether it's one of the DevNet specialists or a DevNet professional. And basically you can go over, actually we're cross-linking on all of each other's pages. So there's certainly Learning at Cisco pages, but if you go to developer.cisco.com/certification, then right there you can actually see all of these certifications. You can get to the detailed technical topics, the exam topics for each of these. And then we've also listed a set of DevNet resources that you can access right now in terms of learning labs, using the sandbox to get hands-on, where you can actually start studying right now. I know that some people have actually already started study groups in studying for these DevNet certifications. I would love it if anybody wants to do that. You can contact me, contact Brett. We can give you more information about how you can get started. And if you want to do a study group, participate in one, or even lead one, then I would love to have that conversation with you. Because once again, we feel like this is really a community. This is for the community. It's about the community. I don't want you to go on this journey alone. I want us to do it together. I want us to go through that, adventure of diving further into software, integrating software capabilities into your wheelhouse, and then being able to take your networking game and your collaboration game, your engineering game to that next level by understanding the capabilities of the software side. So that's all available for you now on DevNet. We're going to have more joint offerings of Learning at Cisco and DevNet offerings. Books, we'll have more trainings, everything coming out to help you get there. But please do start now with all of the resources that are available.
This has been a wonderful conversation, and I think we'll be close to wrapping here. And I want to say thank you, of course, Susie, for taking time. But we've covered a lot of ground for those of you who've been listening. There's more podcasts that you can go back and listen to. Some of the Learning at Cisco folks talking about the changes to the portfolio as well. And now you've got a pretty solid understanding of the DevNet side of the equation as well. But I did want to give you the opportunity, Susie, if you'd like to talk about anything else outside of certifications or that are related to certifications around DevNet that you'd like to share with our audience.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. There's a couple things. So first of all, another thing that we launched in addition to the new DevNet certifications is something that we call DevNet Automation Exchange. So if you go to developer.cisco.com/automation, what you can do is find some interesting resources there. So what happens is, as we've talked to all of our customers and our partners, what we find out is that everybody is working on automation. So anybody who has an infrastructure, whether it's a collaboration infrastructure, a networking infrastructure, an IT infrastructure, if you're working on IoT, a top of mind concern is, how do I automate? How do I, add automation, use capabilities? How do I get insights out of my infrastructure, for business advantage? What people have said is, okay, Susie, you've helped us a lot with learning how to code. You've helped us a lot with learning about Cisco's products and their APIs, but we have real problems that we need to solve. We're trying to solve automation. So how can you take that gap between here's a product and here's its APIs, and here's the real problem that I'm trying to solve? Like, I'm trying to get telemetry and insights from my network, or I'm trying to, create a new application policy that I can deploy across and have all my networking configurations set up for that new application policy that I want to deploy. These are all things that people want to do. And what we're doing is announcing DevNet Automation Exchange, where we have free source code of use cases, software that's built on top of our APIs that solve these types of use cases and problems that people have. And so if you go to developer.cisco.com/automation, we have 50 code repositories there. The code is out on GitHub, but we've curated it to make sure that that code has the proper licenses, is up to date, and everything there. And it's hopefully will solve some of the problems that you are trying to solve. The other thing is that because we're using this community software approach to it, we want to invite you to submit code. Like, if there's some piece of system of anything that you've been automating, if you have what you think is a simple script that you have to use all the time, or maybe it's a complicated script and you just need it every time you want to get started, and you think it could be valuable to somebody else, I encourage you to submit it to Automation Exchange. And then you can have other people use it. Again, it's your code, it's out on GitHub, but you want to put the right license on it so other people can use it. So go ahead and submit your code and get it out there. The other thing is, of course, you can go there to pull code from it. So you can go there to look at what's available, see how other people have solved problems. And this is really about, bringing those software approaches to networking, to where we're taking that community software approach, but really applying it for automation and for networking and collaboration and IoT and security, and really building what our community needs. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is that, people are scared. It's a different world. And, I very much recognize from our community, many of you who I've talked to, is that, you are paid to be experts at your game. You are there to keep these very mission critical infrastructures up, running, driving new business and everything there. And so entering a world of software where you might be newer to it can be scary. But one thing that I want to say is that, first of all of those engineering and technical skills that you've built today are way harder than what it takes to enter and learn about software today. What happens is there's a set of software skills, but to earn that DevNet associate, it is so much easier than any other certification that you've gotten. You just have to apply yourself to it. And what we've done is, in addition to the certification pages, is we actually created on DevNet a place called Start Now. So developer.cisco.com/start now. And what you'll see is there's a set of free learning labs that let you kind of get going with coding and APIs, that let you going with enterprise APIs, with security APIs, IoT APIs, data center APIs. And so that's actually a place that you can go right now to get started. One thing that I want to say is I don't expect and want every engineer to become a coder. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to transform, you must all become coders. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to become a developer, not a coder. You need to be a developer because your network is a software system. Your network has new capabilities that can be uncovered with software. You don't need to become a coder, but you need to become a power user of software systems because your infrastructure is a software system. So what you need to do is just learn enough about software so that you are familiar with it, feel confident about it, you're not scared of it, you understand its capabilities, and then you could bring a developer or a coder alongside next to you and you can work effectively together. I do want you to go to developer.cisco.com/start now to get started now. Go to developer.cisco.com/certification to go and learn about the associate level certifications, the specialist, the professional level, and just start browsing around and start some study groups, get hands-on. I'm not trying to change who you are. My team and I are just trying to add some more to your capabilities so you can continue to be that leader that you are in the best possible way.
Well, once again, I just want to say thanks for taking some time, Susie. Really, really cool of you to do this and to talk to the certification folks on Learning Network.
My pleasure. And, once again, I just encourage everyone to give us feedback, talk to me, talk to my team, talk to Brett. Brett knows how to get me. So as we do all of this, give us all the feedback that you can so that we can help you in any way possible.
And a URL to hang up with here would be developer.cisco.com, and she gave a few slashes at the end there. Start Now is one of them. And then on the Cisco side, cisco.com/next level is also one that you could take a look at as well. Thanks a ton. I'm sure our paths will cross again soon, and thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brett. Thank you, everybody.
That's it for our interview with Susie Wee. All of the links Susie and Brett mentioned in this episode are available in the description. We hope to speak with Susie again in the future about the evolution of Cisco certifications and DevNet's growing role within those changes. In the meantime, please look out for our next episode, which will be released soon, where we interview Joe Clark, Distinguished Services Engineer, about some commonly asked questions about the changes being made to the CCNA certification. To learn more about the new certification and training portfolio, please visit the Cisco Learning Network, where you will find more resources explaining the changes and a community network ready to support you and answer your questions. Please subscribe to our podcast so you'll know when we have more interviews with the experts behind the changes to the Cisco certifications, as well as more information and news on changing technologies. And if you could take a minute to leave us a review on iTunes, it would help maintain our program. Thanks for listening.